ask us nothing. What y'all say, don't talk about it. We gon' talk about it anyway. What y'all say, don't talk about it. Ain't nobody ask us nothing. What y'all say, don't talk about it. We gon' talk about it anyway. What y'all say, let's talk about it.
Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to our next episode of our podcast, Ain't Nobody Ask Us Nothing. We're your hosts. I'm Uncle Ken. This is Coach Denise. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, please. And you can find us at Ain't Nobody Ask Us Nothing Pod on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And in the bio, you'll find our link tree. Very easy for you to get to all the episodes there. So please click and support us while we're getting started, and you'll be one of the day ones, all right? So what are we going to talk about today, Coach?
We are excited to talk about emotional manipulation. So first, I always give a disclaimer. Ain't Nobody Ask Us Nothing podcast is really for mature audiences. So please be protective of little ears. We really want to get down to a great conversation, but just know this is for a mature audience, an adult conversation. So today we're going to be talking about emotional manipulation, and what does that mean? Are there gender influences or natural things that happen? Are there all kinds of different conversations that might flow through today? But we really hope that you will stick with us and have a good time. And again, make sure you leave us a comment. We really want to hear from you as well. Emotional manipulation.
What is that? What are you talking about?
You know, I don't even know. I don't know exactly. I don't want to even begin to talk about a definition, but I do know that there are opinions about, especially when we're talking about people who identify as female, we'll say women who use tears or who cry, and what the public perception of that is. And even just now, because I'm not really a crier, okay? So even in my description just now, I minimized and I said who use tears. So even I have some bias and I have some prejudices when it comes to emotion, and that's something that I have to deal with personally. But I do know that it is a public perception about when women cry. What does that mean? Are they being manipulative? Are they being genuine? And how are males or the men in their lives supposed to respond to that? So that's a lot. What do you think?
Right now, I was like just thinking about the word manipulation, because manipulation kind of means it was intentional.
Right.
And I don't think in all the cases that it's intentionally done. Maybe in most, but not all. It's an intention. But I think the public perception is when a woman cries, she's right, or she's the victim in the situation. I think it is intentional with some women who, know that they're wrong or incorrect, will cry to take the focus off of being wrong or incorrect. But not all the time do I believe that it's an intentional act. It may just be their emotional response. I think we can all agree that men and women are kind of made different. Women tend to be more emotional than men. That's from our brain, physical makeup. But I think from the outside looking in, if you and I are having an argument about something,
Right.
I can be 100% correct. But if you cry to anybody looking at it, I'm wrong, I'm the bad guy because you're crying. And I think I think you might have a lot of things that's mixed into that. I think for the people who are actually using it as manipulation, is to avoid accountability. Because one thing, it almost sounds like a woman bashing.
We'll see.
But I also don't care if people don't call us
Here
like
we
that.
go. See,
But,
I knew it was gonna come out. The Uncle Ken was gonna come out.
But it's that thing that like when women argue, and I'm not talking about all women. As my mama used to say, she said you. I'm not talking about you specific. I'm talking about you general. So when I say women, I'm not talking directly to each and every woman, unless it fits. If it fits, wear it.
Oh my gosh. With the
But
disclaimers.
it's like if we're in an argument,
Right.
the second you realize you're wrong, you tend to do one of two things. You either cry or you bring up something else that you know you're right about that may have happened 20 years ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but what about that girl Keisha? That ain't got nothing to do with what you're talking about now, but it happened 15 years ago, and it's the last time that you caught this guy in the wrong, and
Right.
you were right about that. So now you bringing that back up because you're taking the focus off your wrong, because saying I'm sorry not in y'all vocabulary,
Okay.
and y'all ain't
That
super
is
big
not
on
true.
y'all not super big on accountability. Y'all just
But didn't he just
y'all-
say that he
y'all
wasn't trying
cry.
to women bash and do
Y'all
all of
cry.
that? Okay.
Y'all cry.
Here,
Also
let
told
me,
that
let
you
me,
can't.
since we in the disclaimer mood, Keisha, all the Keishas out there that are listening to our Ain't Nobody Ask Us Nothing podcast, we love you. We love you.
We
It
love
was
you,
not,
Keisha.
yes. Was it Keisha from Decatur in the Chris Brown song? Whatever.
I don't know. I'm listening to Chris
Oh,
Brown.
well, okay, here we go. Moving on, I appreciate what you're saying, but I think that when we're talking about public perception, I wonder if the public, especially males or men, have an innate, just an intuition to be protective of women. And I think women are protective of women. And so when you're out in the public and you see a woman crying, most men that I know that is about something, they probably will take up some internal concern. Like their little, beacons, radars will go off to say, oh my gosh, something's wrong with this woman. And you may not act on it, but you have this inclination to want to be protective of women. And I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not saying women cannot protect themselves. Trust me, that's not what this conversation is about. But what I do know is it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, you want women to be protected, but in order for you to even have the inclination to protect her, she has to exhibit some form of vulnerability. She has to be you have to see her in some way of a soft light, right? And I think that that's where we have a lot of conflict, is we have men who expect women to be in their feminine energy, but then when they exert what folks would say is feminine energy, which I disagree with, but if she's crying, then she's being too soft, or she's being too whatever, she's extra, she's being dramatic, or she's trying to manipulate us to get something
I
out
don't
of
think
it.
that's what we're saying at all.
I don't know. What are you saying?
We're saying when they cry,
Yes.
because like you said, men see women crying. That's that outside looking in thing we're talking
Right,
about.
okay.
The first assumption is that something's happening to the woman, or the guy in that situation is causing the problem, and it's only because she's crying. She could have been 100% at fault at every turn, but because a tear rolled down her cheek, she's innocent of everything. And that's the perception. We're not talking about whether or not we want them to be feminine. I don't even consider crying as a
Good.
feminine
Exactly.
thing. That don't make you any more of a woman than anybody else because you cry. I just think that a lot of crying is in place of being accountable, or in place of accepting that you're not right in this situation. Let's get the focus off of me on what I did and get the focus on that I'm hurt right now, that I'm feeling, bad right now. And I think that's what happens. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, because that could just be your emotional thing. I'm just saying that the perception comes across is now the guy is the bad person. The guy's the one that's done something wrong, has done something to this woman,
Right.
just solely based off the fact that she's crying. If I'm walking down the street and I see a guy and a girl arguing, and the girl is crying, without knowing anything what's going on,
Right.
what is he doing to her?
Make her cry.
Yeah.
And
What is he doing to her?
Right.
And it's not fair, and it's not a how do I say it? It's not effective for that male female relationship, because if I come across now with the impression that because you're crying, you're trying to hide what you did wrong, so do I become hardened to, when I see a woman cry, now I don't want to be protective, because it's like you ruining it for everybody else, because you taking this situation and using it for evil.
For evil.
Instead
diabolical.
Instead of for good. It's like
Right.
you using it to, I don't want to say protect yourself, because you're not protecting yourself, because you're not in danger of anything. But as we said, to manipulate a situation so that you don't have to be held accountable,
Right.
or you don't have to deal with whatever the situation is, that you're the person that's to blame for whatever we're discussing. That's where I have a problem. It's not that women crying or anything, or being vulnerable. That's not the problem. The problem is that I can't trust the tear. I can't trust the tear on his face to mean that something's happening to you.
Now, are you talking about in a public situation, or are you talking about in a relationship?
Well, if I'm in a relationship, I know why you
Okay.
crying. And I've already have an opinion on whether or not you crying because I'm doing something to you, or I'm hurting you, or you crying to take focus off of the stuff I done came to you about.
Right.
So it's more on the outside. Okay, so let's use Facebook, or social media in general. I had a friend once who he put on Facebook. I guess he had some kind of problem with his lady friend, and said, you can't trust people to be loyal and blah blah blah, and didn't explain nothing.
Right.
Just expressed his emotion, and a whole slew of people commenting, "You don't need her," and this taking up for him. And I called him once
Right.
and told him, take it down.
Right. Right.
And I commented on this post, y'all all telling him that he don't need her to. He might be the asshole in this situation.
Right, right.
You don't know. He didn't give you any information.
Right,
He just
right.
told you how he felt. But because he feels bad,
Right.
and he's your friend, you just automatically
Jumped on.
not just taking his side, but you giving him advice, telling him he don't need her, when you don't know any information,
Any details of the information.
So, like in that case I just gave you, that's a man
Yes.
being emotional. But when you get emotional, so I don't know if it's a problem with the person being emotional, or is it a problem with the viewer, the person who's seeing it, just making an assumption that the person who's crying, or the person that's sad, is the victim. In this case, when in reality they may be the aggressor. The person who's not crying is the victim.
Right. And that's a good point. That leads us into a couple of the topics that I was hoping we can get into as well. And that is, or especially those of you who are followers of Ain't Nobody Asked Us Nothing podcast, thank you. You may have remembered a couple of episodes ago, we talked about how men, in my opinion, but ain't nobody asked me nothing, listen, have used love to barter for certain things, right? Using love to barter and promising and all of these things. I think it's interesting how you use that example, because whether your friend meant to do that or not, but there is manipulation that happens in relationships, no matter the gender. And I'm here to tell you, men will often use manipulation in several different ways. But one is gaslighting me to believe that because I'm emotional, or because I'm crying, that I'm being dramatic, or I'm making stuff up, or it's all in my head, and all of the things. And I think that that's where this podcast today is talking about, is is it really the tears? Is it the physical water that's coming out of your eyes? Or is it the emotions that are not being addressed and the communication that is disconnected in the relationship? That's where I think manipulation comes into play. When you have to manipulate someone that you care about, then that is not somebody that you care about. And that's just all there is to it. When you're in these relationships and you have, you're using manipulation, you're using tactics and maneuvers, as my mother would say, tactics and maneuvers to get what you want or to get out of, responsibility and accountability, as you alluded to, then therein lies the problems. And that's where you have to decide emotion versus intention. Emotion versus intention. First of all, what are these what is the culprit? Why are you having these particular emotions that are causing you sadness? And then what do you intend to either receive, get in return, resolve? What is the intention that goes behind expressing that emotion? And then, mind you, sometimes emotions happen and it just happens. It's not like you were in any type of control. But emotions versus intentions. And I really want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about, is there a balance between that? Is there a way that we can look at emotions as a way to communicate and also as a way to be intentional about what we are communicating?
So as I said earlier, there's a difference between, I say I had a problem with the word manipulation, because manipulation is an intentional act, right, as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes the person's just emotional,
right?
And I think the problem that I'm trying to get to with this is not so much the people in the relationship, because unlike the rest of us, they actually know what's going on. They know what they were talking about.
Right.
It's the perception of outsiders.
I got you.
Who are either involving themselves in it or feel like they need to protect or come in with the aspect of, instead of, hey, what's going on? It's more to the guy, what are you doing
what did
to
you do
her?
To her? Yeah.
Because she's
why did you make her cry?
Right, just simply because she's crying. And in a lot of cases, I hate to say it, there's no reason for her to be crying. She's crying because it's beneficial to her to cry. And I say her because in most of these cases it is the woman crying and not the dude. And if the dude crying, she gonna leave him anyway because he's crying.
Some people want to have a sensitive man that is in touch with his emotions. You
that-
earlier said that you
what-
didn't think
that's
crying
what
was
they-
a weakness.
That's what they say.
That's what they. That's their
what they
truth. That's
say.
their truth.
What happened to say what you mean and mean what you say?
Oh, I definitely, you already know me. I definitely do it. I stand 10 toes deep on what I say, and I mean it. That's when I said it. Head. And I well, you can call me what you want, but you ain't never got to figure out what I'm thinking or figure out, because I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna articulate it in a manner that I don't have to say, you know what I mean,
right, after
I said it. But I think in a lot of relationships, and I kind of want to say marriage, but some relationships are marriage-like, even
marriage adjacent.
Is that you have to realize that once you decide to split a life with somebody, it's no longer two of y'all, it's one. And whatever you do affects what. I just said that. That's why people think we married, cause
I know. I'm trying to reel it in and stop.
So whatever she does affects him. Whatever he does affects her. But it seems like in a lot of these relationships, we have checking accounts.
Okay, stretch that.
We taking, we keeping receipts. I see you do something, and I don't address it with you right now. I wait until you want to start something. And then as soon as you start something, I got a whole checklist of stuff that you did. Maybe you've even done the very thing that you fussing at me about. So it's like we tend to get in protection mode and don't feel like we can be vulnerable with our mate to say, hey, you know, right? I messed that up. I messed that up. Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Or, hey, I did mean it in that moment. It was a bad decision. And y'all work through it together.
Right.
And different reasons for it. Some people can't handle not being right. So
I know.
they cause other problems by not admitting. If I'm addressing an issue with you,
Right.
I already know you wrong. That's why I'm addressing it with you. You telling me it's not doesn't make me stop thinking that it is. In the same, if it's the other way around. If you're addressing the issue with me, it's a problem. Whether I meant it to be a problem or not, you have a problem with something that I did, said, wrote, or whatever, and you're addressing it with me.
Right.
Me acting like it's not a problem doesn't change the fact that you think it is.
Right.
So we need to have a conversation about it instead of me trying to just convince you that what I did you shouldn't be upset about. First thing I can find, why are you upset about it? And then we can have a conversation. But if I'm just defending myself, and then when I find out that oh shit, she might be right, I might be lost.
Right.
Then what about Bob, that dude that you was at lunch with and I ain't know nothing about? You know, that
Right.
type of thing where we're just in defense mode,
Tit for
trying to
tat.
save ourselves. Like we no longer on, we got the same jersey on.
Right.
We playing on the same side of the ball, but we not
not on the
playing.
same team.
We not playing together. And you know, coaching football, as I always tell my guys, there's never gonna be a time that some of us walk off the field with a W,
That
and
part.
some of us walk off the field with an L.
Yeah.
We either gonna win together or
Or
we gonna lose
lose
together.
together.
But whatever we gonna do, it's gonna be together, whether you want it to be or not.
Right.
And I think in a lot of relationships, we don't recognize that.
Right. Right.
In this, it's like someone has to win the relationship
Right.
instead of, hey, let's fix what's going on. And I think that's where the need or the feel for the need of manipulating situation comes in. I'm coming in to protect myself, not fix a problem that we are having.
Right.
One of us may be wrong about it, but it's
Right.
still we are having a situation.
Right.
And when one party can't take accountability, now it's no longer we. It's me against you.
That's right.
And when it's me against you, it's an automatic, like go back to math. A positive times a negative is always going to be a negative.
Yes.
So ain't nobody winning that.
Right. Right.
So we need to change our perspective in the relationship and understand that we're in a safe place when we're communicating with each other. And if we're not in a safe place, we shouldn't be in that
relationship.
in that relationship.
That's right.
And I think that a lot of us try to hold on to relationships that shouldn't be held on to. And it could be a situation, I'm not ready to be in this relationship
Right.
because I'm not mature enough to be, because I still need to be right.
Yeah.
As long as I still need to be right, I am not emotionally mature enough to be in a relationship with another person. I'm only emotionally mature enough to be in a relationship with me. And I think that's where you get it. But when we're talking about this, my issue is more so with the outside perception. Not, again, the people in the relationship, they know what the deal is, whether they admit it or not. Just because
Right.
you don't admit to me that you're wrong, I know you know that you're wrong. Even though, but the person walking by just automatically assumes that that the woman's crying, so it's the man's fault. And the reason I say woman, because we walk by and the man crying, we ain't gonna think he a bitch. That's all.
Jeez Louise.
We not, I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. We not gonna think, what is that girl doing to him? We go like, look at this bitch dude here. And that's just, our perception. And fortunately, all of us not good at minding our business.
That part.
So we get involved, and we involve ourselves from the wrong side because we went with no information. All we saw, tears rolling down her face. She has to be right.
For sure. But I also think what we have to consider strongly is that just because you feel strongly doesn't mean you're right. Just because you feel strongly doesn't mean you're right. And when we talk about this perception of we got a lot going on, y'all. There's a whole family, as you can see, so we apologize. But with this, when you talk about minding your, business, and I think that kind of plays a part into societal norms. When you see a woman crying, or even as little girls, right? You see a little girl crying, and there's a little boy there. What did you do to her? Or why did you make her cry? It's so many things. But even as a child, when there's two little girls playing and one of the girls is crying, you automatically gonna assume the one that ain't crying is the one that's at fault. So that goes again to what you were saying earlier, that it is some manipulation that might be going on in multiple different ways in different relationships. But I also want to say, crying doesn't mean that you're manipulating or you're manipulative, but it also doesn't mean that you're innocent. And so when you are looking from the outside in, it's difficult to come to some type of conclusion and ascertain what is really true and when you should step in, right? I think that we live in a society where we do want to mind our own business. We have the last 10 or 15 years, we have these Karens, that are being caught and going viral for being Karens. We're not telling you to be a Karen, but at the same time, ain't nobody asked me nothing. Ain't nobody asked us nothing. But at the same time, I feel like we have to, there are times where you can see a situation and you really should step in, but there's times also where you need to just go ahead and mind your own business and just, because you don't know all the information.
Right, or if you want to help, come in neutral. What's going on.
Right.
And they may tell you, mind your business. And
right.
If they tell you mind your business, then go mind your business.
Right.
But then once they explain, now you can interject from a standpoint of knowledge, not just tears. And I'm not saying that crying is bad.
Right.
It's the intention behind it. Whether your tears are real or whether your tears are generated for sympathy, for empathy, for a reason other than I'm sad and hurt right now, and this is my natural emotion. And that's all I'm saying. And like I said, I don't want to come across as women bashing, but it's just women that do most of the crying. And again, nothing wrong with crying. What Life Jennings said, crying is like taking your soul to the laundromat. So, hey, if you feel like crying, cry, but don't use it. Don't use your tears as a weapon, because it actually makes your real tears less effective when you do.
That's good, and that's a good place for us to say, thank you to our Ain't Nobody Asked Us Nothing podcast family. We really appreciate you. We want to hear from you when we're talking about things like emotional manipulation, gaslighting, all the things that may happen, using tears as a weapon. And we know that could be extremely dangerous, especially, I would be remiss if I didn't say that this is Black History Month, and Black History Month is American history. It is important that we understand that there have been tears shed, and because of those tears, innocent men have been killed. Innocent men have been lynched. We have a history in this country for not getting the true and the full story, and then we react instead of responding. And so I think it's really important, especially for those of us who identify as Black or African Americans, that we understand tears can be extremely deadly. Tears can be also very liberating. So we have an opportunity as a people and as human beings to really walk out our emotions with intention, but hopefully not with malice. So again, ain't nobody asked us nothing. We hope you had a good time with this podcast. It may have been a heavy conversation, but listen to it a couple of times and let us know what you think and give us some ideas for another podcast. But also remember, we are just Uncle Ken and Coach Denise, and we got lifing just like everybody else. So we really appreciate you just taking the time to be with us.
And before we go, we had a little emergency happen, and we always talk about Taylor, and you hear Taylor off. That was Taylor that walked past behind. So that's our producer, Taylor. We're glad you guys got a chance to see her. She's a big part of making this podcast go. She's a slave driver.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! Not
During Black History Month?
For real.
But oh yeah, dang.
Honey slaves to the white man.
But we're so thankful to have her.
Yeah.
And with that, I guess we out. We told them to like, share, and subscribe, right?
Like, share,
and
subscribe,
and comment, and comment, and comment, and comment, and comment, and comment. They say you say something 7 times, people will remember it. And don't forget to check us out at Ain't Nobody Ask Us Nothing Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And in the bio, you'll find that link tree so you can easily access all the episodes. So with that, we thank you for listening.
Yes.
And we out.
Ain't nobody ask us nothing. We're gonna talk about it anyway. Ain't nobody ask us nothing. We're gonna talk